the greatest love story in Gotham City. It isn't Bruce Wayne and Catwoman.
No?
It definitely isn't Bruce and his, endless parade of models and socialites. According to the stack of research we are looking at today, the defining relationship of Batman's life, the one that actually matters, is his relationship with the Joker.
It sounds so provocative when you put it that way, doesn't it?
Well,
Like we're just trying to stir up trouble, but we aren't talking about romance in the, Hallmark movie sense.
Right.
We are looking at something much stickier, much darker, and honestly, a lot more psychologically complex.
Exactly. Today on the Deep Dive, we are moving past the wham-pow sound effects.
Yeah.
We are unpacking a psychological analysis of what is known as a trauma bond. We're looking at a fascinating article titled Batman and Joker, the most beautiful trauma bond ever written. And I have to say, reading this piece, it completely reframed how I see them.
It really does. It flips the whole script. The mission for this deep dive is to strip away the capes, the cowls, all the gadgets.
Wow.
We want to look at why these two characters are psychologically, incapable of existing without one another. The source makes a compelling case that this isn't hero versus villain. This is a story about two human nervous systems addicted to the same cycle of violence.
Okay, hold on. Addicted to violence is a heavy phrase.
Yeah.
It suggests they aren't really making choices, but just reacting to a craving. So before we get into all that, let's go back to the beginning. The article starts by pointing out something I'd honestly never really thought about. The origin story itself.
Right. This is so crucial.
The Joker doesn't just show up in Gotham fully formed like most of the other bad guys.
Exactly. You look at the Penguin or the Riddler, they arrive with their baggage already packed. They have their own backstories that have nothing to do with Bruce Wayne. But in most versions of the continuity, specifically the ones this article highlights, like The Killing Joke, the Joker is literally made by Batman.
And this is the Ace Chemicals incident, right?
Yeah, that's the one. You have the famous incident at Ace Chemicals. The man who becomes the Joker, he's a failed comedian, a desperate guy, and he falls into that vat of chemicals because he is fleeing from Batman.
The pursuit causes the fall.
The pursuit causes the fall. Batman terrifies him. He slips and boom, into the acid.
So Batman is basically there in the delivery room.
He's more than just in the room. He is the catalyst.
Wow.
He's the doctor, the midwife, and the father all rolled into one horrific moment. The source argues this creates an immediate, very unique kind of intimacy. Batman is implicated in the Joker's existence. From the first second he exists in relation to Batman.
That is a wild way to look at it. It's like they have this shared DNA from the moment of birth. You can see why Joker would fixate on him. But the article uses a very specific term, trauma bonding. I feel like that term gets thrown around a lot these days.
Absolutely.
How is the source actually defining it here?
That's a great question because we're not using the TikTok definition here. The source is very specific. A trauma bond isn't just two people going through a hard time together. It's a biological and psychological thing where a bond is formed through shared survival level stakes. The bond becomes intense precisely because of the danger, not in spite of it.
So it's physiological. It's not just in their heads.
It's entirely physiological. Think about what happens to your body in a life or death fight.
Adrenaline, cortisol.
The whole chemical cocktail. Your nervous system starts to associate the other person, the source of the fear, with those peak experience moments. Eventually, the brain gets confused. It can't tell the difference between that rush of fear and, say, love or attachment. It just gets wired together.
So the fear is the connection.
Exactly. And the argument here is that this wiring goes both ways.
Okay, because I can see it for the Joker, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
He's obsessed. But Batman? He's supposed to be the disciplined one.
Right, and that's the part that trips people up. But the source argues it is absolutely a two-way street. It just looks different. For the Joker, his nervous system is organized around Batman. The chase, the conflict, those are his peak experiences. Without the Bat, the world is just gray.
And for Batman?
For Batman, the Joker activates his nervous system in a way no one else can.
In a way that, like, a random bank robber doesn't.
A bank robber is a chore. It's paperwork. Fighting the Joker makes the whole mission feel necessary. It makes Batman feel alive in a way busting a common mugger just doesn't. The source puts it bluntly. The addiction looks like hatred, but structurally, it functions like love. It provides meaning and focus and intensity.
That is a disturbing thought, that Batman needs the Joker to feel fully Batman. Which leads us right into one of the most famous lines in modern movies. You know the one.
You complete me.
The Dark Knight. And we usually think, oh, he's the villain, he's just being creepy.
Mocking a romance trope, yeah.
But this article says he's just being honest.
Yeah.
That it's factually true.
It is, in this context. The source describes them as complements. Think about it. Batman represents absolute order. He has rules, a code. He believes in saving people.
Rigid.
Very rigid. Joker is absolute chaos, no rules, total anarchy. They aren't just opposites. They fit together like puzzle pieces. They define themselves against one another.
So it's an identity crisis. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know who I am unless I'm fighting you.
Precisely. It's what psychologists call enmeshment. The boundaries dissolve. The source points out that neither of them really knows who they are without the other one to push against. If I'm not stopping you, what am I doing? If I'm not fighting the Batman, who am I even performing for?
There's a scene the article highlights that perfectly shows this. It's that interrogation scene again.
Mm-hmm.
Batman starts beating the living daylights out of the Joker.
Mm.
I mean, he is losing control, slamming his head into the table, punching him in the face.
And what is the Joker doing during all that? Is he begging for mercy?
No. He's laughing.
He is laughing. The source points to this as a critical piece of evidence. Joker isn't looking for a criminal victory. He isn't trying to escape. He's looking for engagement. He wants Batman's rage focused entirely on him.
So when Batman is punching him, Joker isn't feeling pain. He's feeling seen.
In a really twisted way, yes. That
Ew.
total focus, that is the love. Joker literally says, I wanted to see what you do, and you didn't disappoint. He doesn't care about the crime itself. He cares about what the crime makes Batman do. It's relational. He's testing the bond.
Do I still matter enough to make you lose control?
Exactly.
Wow, that turns every fist fight into this weird, violent date night. But this brings us to the elephant in the room. The thing every fan has argued about forever. The no-kill rule.
Ah, yes. The one rule.
Why doesn't he just kill him? Practically speaking, the Joker murders hundreds. He breaks out of Arkham every other week. If Batman just ended it, he'd save so many lives. And the standard answer is always moral principle.
If I kill him, I become him.
Right. But our source offers a much darker theory. The article argues that the no-kill rule, in this specific case, is really just moral cover for codependency.
Whoa.
Okay, moral cover for codependency. That is a loaded accusation. You're saying he uses his morality to hide his addiction?
That is the argument. Follow the logic. If Batman kills the Joker,
The game ends.
a game ends, the purpose evaporates. Without the Joker, Batman is just a rich guy in a costume punching muggers. The Joker gives the violence a grand operatic meaning. He elevates Batman from a vigilante to a savior.
So he refuses to kill him, not to save the Joker's soul, or even his own, but to save his own reason for existing.
Essentially, yeah, to save his own purpose. And the source brings up the most damning piece of evidence for this.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Yeah, this one's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Jason Todd was the second Robin. He was Batman's partner, his ward, his son, really. The Joker kidnaps him, beats him half to death with a crowbar, and then blows him up. It is brutal.
It's the worst thing that ever happens to Batman.
And yet,
Batman does not kill the Joker.
this is what the source calls the breaking point that wasn't.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. If there was ever a moment for the moral code to snap, this was it.
Any jury would have acquitted him.
In a second. But the trauma bond with the Joker was stronger than Batman's parental instinct for Jason. The Joker killed his child, and Batman still protected the bond with the Joker over getting vengeance for his son.
That is chilling when you put it that way.
Right.
It suggests that relationship is the most protected thing in his life.
It is. And later, when Jason Todd comes back as the Red Hood...
Because nobody stays dead in comics.
Right. He confronts Batman, he holds a gun to the Joker's head and gives Batman an ultimatum. He says, kill him or you never really loved me.
Oof. And the source suggests Jason was right.
In the context of this analysis, yes. Jason realized the uncomfortable truth that the bond Batman shares with the Joker runs deeper than family, deeper than justice. Batman disarms Jason to save the Joker. He chooses the cycle over the son.
It really paints Batman as an addict, protecting his supply. But the Joker has a philosophy about all this, right? He has a thesis statement.
He does. The one bad day thesis, it's from The Killing Joke, which is really the Bible for this relationship.
Mm.
Joker's worldview is that everyone is just one bad day away from being exactly like him. He's constantly testing Batman to prove that sanity is a fiction and that the moral code is just a joke. He wants to prove Batman is just as crazy as he is.
But here's the thing. The article points out Batman already had his bad day.
Exactly. The murder of his parents in Crime Alley. That was it.
So in a way, the Joker already won that argument.
That's the mirror effect the source describes. They're parallel lines of trauma response. One bad day turned one of them into a monster who creates chaos to mock the world.
And one bad day turned the other into a monster who dresses like a demon to enforce order on the world.
They're two sides of the same traumatic coin.
Both monsters, just with different wardrobes.
And they recognize this in each other. There's a moment at the end of The Killing Joke. It's the ending people have debated for decades.
Is this when they're standing in the rain?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pouring rain.
Yeah.
Joker has just done unspeakable things. Paralyzed Batgirl, tortured Gordon, and at the end, he tells a joke.
And Batman laughs.
He laughs, not a little chuckle, a full-on hysterical laugh.
Yeah.
And he grabs the Joker by the shoulders, and for a moment, they are just laughing together in the rain.
Which is terrifying. Batman never laughs. Seeing them laugh together is scarier than seeing them fight.
It is. And the source interprets this not as a cliffhanger, but as a moment of intimacy and recognition. In that moment, the masks slip. They realize they're two men locked in a dance neither can stop. They're the only two people on Earth who truly get the joke of their own existence.
The joke is that they're doing this forever.
And the natural conclusion of that is, well, it's mutual destruction. The source mentions Scott Snyder's Endgame arc. In that story, the conflict finally ramps up to its absolute peak. And how does it end?
They die. Temporarily, of course. But they die together.
In a mutual embrace. As the cave collapses, they're lying on the floor bleeding out. The source argues this is the only way it can end. They can't live apart, and they can't live together peacefully, so they just burn out together.
Okay, so we've established this is the most dysfunctional, toxic, codependent relationship in all of fiction.
Pretty much.
But here's the big question. So what? Why does this matter? Why should you, the listener, care about the psychology of a clown and a bat?
That's the pivot point. The source argues this matters because it exposes the shadow side of love.
The shadow side.
Yeah. We're used to stories where love is healing. Love saves the day. But Batman and Joker show us that connection can be obsessive, it can be destructive, it can be the thing that keeps you sick. It challenges the idea that connection is always a positive thing.
That hits a little close to home, doesn't it?
It does. The source makes a great point about relatability. We might not dress up in costumes, but we're all a little Batman or a little Joker. We've all had relationships that didn't make sense to the outside world. Relationships that hurt too much, ones we knew were bad for us, but we couldn't quit.
The ex you keep texting. The friend who brings out the worst in you. That dynamic where you just fight and make up over and over.
Exactly. This story gives a mythology to that specific kind of beautiful trauma. It validates the experience of being stuck in a loop with someone because the highs are so high, even if the lows are destroying you.
I can't live with you, can't live without you, but on a superhero scale.
Yeah, and stripped of the romance. It shows the raw nerve of it.
So if we summarize what they provide each other, the list in the source is fascinating. Joker provides Batman with meaning and with permission to be violent.
And Batman provides Joker with an audience and stability. Batman is the fixed point. Joker orbits him. It's a perfect closed loop of supply and demand.
A loop that probably won't ever end.
And that brings us to the closing thought of the source material. In a novel or a movie, you get an ending. The credits roll. But in serialized comics,
The dance continues. Forever.
and the source argues that maybe, just maybe, that's the most honest ending of all.
How so? How is an unending nightmare honest?
Because it acknowledges that some patterns don't break. Some bonds persist long after they should have died. In real life, you don't always get closure. You don't always just walk away. Sometimes the dance just keeps going. The Batman-Joker story is an eternal recurrence. It's a myth that never resolves because the psychological need never resolves.
That is a haunting thought.
Yeah.
That the truest thing about them is that they're just stuck.
Stuck in the loop, doomed to repeat it.
Well, on that cheerful note, we have to wrap this deep dive. It's a loop. Batman provides the audience. Joker provides the meaning. It is a dance where the music is violence.
And neither of them can imagine hearing that song stop. Because if the music stops, they have to be alone with themselves.
And neither one of them wants that. I want to thank you for diving deep with us today. This definitely changed how I'm going to watch the next Batman movie.
It's hard to unsee it once you've seen it, right?
Absolutely. To you, the listener, think about the Jokers in your own life. Hopefully they don't have green hair and crowbars, but maybe check your own nervous system. Are you addicted to the chaos? Are you mistaking adrenaline for love? Something to mull over. Thanks for listening.